Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. I'm one half of the team, Mushmaster Tim Spriggs. And with me as always every week is...
Yo, what's up everybody? It's Nico Ball. Glad to be back for another episode of the best BJJ podcast that exists.
Yes, we are the best around. Nothing's going to ever keep us down. So I'm a huge Karate Kid mark.
You got bars?
No, it's a song from Karate Kid.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. I am
you
not
are
a huge
so
Karate Kid fan.
uncultured. You speak 5 languages, but you are uncultured, my lady.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you got to know these things. This is a martial arts podcast.
All right.
I still have to finish the final season of Cobra Kai. Apologize, folks. Shit's crazy, but I will finish it. It's hard. You got to get in a Cobra Kai kind of mood. But enough about me. How are you, Nico?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I got a lot of new things going on this week. I have a new apartment and a new car. And ironically, I don't know if I told you, I was able to purchase a car because of John, this random person in the jiu-jitsu community, because I have 2 jobs and no time. So I put it out on my Instagram story to see if anybody was out in Virginia and like Chantilly, which is an hour away from DC, that could go look at a car for me. And this person responded. They went and looked at a car. They told me it was all right. So I just bought that joint without ever seeing it and went to pick it up on Friday, the same day that I picked up the keys to my new place.
Well, congratulations. Shout out to John.
Yeah. No, from Silverback Academy. I'm going to have to slide through with my new car on Saturday to go to open mats and
Shout out to John.
Yeah, it's
Shout
crazy.
out to Silverback Academy. You are a real one. Gold star.
Yeah, I love the community, That's like when I tell people, you just got to reach out to people. You ask questions. If you're trying to learn Portuguese, just try to talk to some Brazilians on Instagram because they love to talk to you. I get a lot of benefits from social media.
You do. There's good people out there. Mm-hmm. There's some ride or dies.
Yeah, this happened to me in Portugal, too, when I needed a place to stay with Moicano. Like, I just put it out there on Facebook and found an amazing spot with a girl from Switzerland.
Speaking of Facebook, we recorded a Patreon episode before this. Make sure if you want to see all of our bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/BJJGoons. We were talking about social media and Twitter dying. I heard you mention Facebook. I want to ask the audience a question. Everyone listening at home, please let me know what you think. Do you think social media is dying? Because Nico hates Instagram. She keeps on saying how much Instagram sucks.
But it is a business tool. It is a business tool.
It's a business tool. I kind of
just got to suck it up and look at it like that. But I don't understand how logical businessmen keep making all of these changes. It would make it really frustrating to use.
And the youth don't fuck with Instagram like that. And I am told, I know young people. I'm kind of the OG now. So the young people telling me they don't fuck with Instagram. Twitter is dying. TikTok, okay, maybe, but it's owned by the Chinese. Is social media dying? What are we going to do? Are we going to go back to regular ass websites? Which I don't mind. Because no one's going to take down your website unless you're Alex Jones. But let us know in the comments. Let us know in the DMs at BJJ Goons Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
But not Twitter.
Yeah. Not Twitter. So, Nico.
Tim.
To continue, is that everything that's up with you?
What's up with me? We did a catch up on the Patreon. So if you want to listen to that, when is this coming out? Boom.
This is coming out
on the 1st.
Yeah, the 1st.
This is coming out tomorrow. Patreon episode will be dropping on the 1st. Yeah, that's all that's really new with me that I'm going to say publicly right now. I'm a very kind of quiet person. Again, just shout out to my tribe. I need to make a trip up to New York and visit some people. I need to take a trip down to Virginia Beach and visit some people. So I'm really glad that I'm mobile now, and I'm going to see where I can drag Tim along, get him to throw in a gi again, and do some train wrecking maybe with the BJJ dad. Black belt dad.
Hey, yo, I've been watching a lot of judo lately. Speaking of the gi, I've been watching a lot of judo lately. And we're going to get back into what we're thankful for, but that just made me think about something I'm thankful for because this is on the eve of Thanksgiving. This is the last episode before Thanksgiving. So we're going to talk about that. But first, some results. The IBJJF had a Grand Prix event for in the absolute division, and Kainan Duarte won.
Took that title.
Took that title. Beat out Cyborg. Let's look at the people that these matches, right? So
yeah, and Flow Grappling has a really nice breakdown. So if you don't want to watch all of the matches, like they go kind of point by point through each of the matches and let you know what happened.
Kainan Duarte, it was El Monstro, Elder Cruz, Roberto Cyborg, of course, Henrique Sansoni, Gutenberg Pereira, Francisco Lowe, Ryder Zucchi, and Gabriel Oliveira. I'm sorry, I can't read today. I've been looking at screens way too much. Kainan did an awesome job. Like, beat Elder Cruz, who's tough. Then he goes into the semifinals, beats Cyborg in the semis. And then he just goes to the final and beats Gutenberg. A lot of these were by points, a lot of points victories. And then the gi, it tends to be points. I think it was 10 minutes, if I'm correct, Nico. My thing with these gi matches and them going to points, I think 10 minutes is way too long for a match in any grappling sport.
But 10 minutes is your typical black belt match. Like, I think an unlimited amount of time is definitely way too long. But is 10 minutes really that bad?
Yes, I think it's very bad.
Why?
Because we look at judo, we look at wrestling. They have periods, so they have breaks, but they're not 10 minutes long. In judo, it can be long, but
like an MMA fight is 25-minute long.
But they have
a title
breaks.
Fight is 25 minutes.
But they have breaks.
What is 1 minute break? A lot, I guess. But
in grappling, if we're going to do jiu-jitsu, that style where it's ground fighting and we have points, or we're going to have like criteria.
You also have stalling, though.
Yes, but they have stalling calls in other grappling sports.
But not in MMA. Oh, like they'll like separate you.
They will stand your ass up.
But it's not the same as like where you can be. They won't stand you up as much in jiu-jitsu or at all, depending on the competition. Like you could sit on somebody and just crush them with like, the crossface for whatever, slowly transitioning. And that's a lot harder to do in MMA. It's a lot more diverse because you have both that static and dynamic energy you need, whether you're grappling or striking.
The energy systems are being used are slightly different in grappling. All I'm saying is 6-minute matches, aggressive stalling, person that has the top position the longest wins. If it goes down to decision, I think that would be best for jiu-jitsu. I don't think they should call stalling on the top as much, but nonetheless, I think that's part of the reason why these matches were so long and there's only like 2 points scored. And I haven't watched all these matches, but I can tell you that if we want Guy to get the respect that it deserves, because these are the best fighters in the world, Kainan versus Gutenberg, we got to make it so it's more palatable so people stop complaining about Guy, because I don't think there's been a tournament this year with this kind of money on the line, with this
40,000.
Yeah, with this many guys that are that good. And it's Guy, and I talk about judo because I think that it basically is just judo in the long run. Shout out to Roddy Ferguson. We got to get you on the show, fam. But I think that gi can lend itself to better matches and a truer understanding of fighting if we change the rules. And I think that it is pretty there's a reason why guys that are great in the gi can go and do no gi so effortlessly, because you're going back more and more to the source when we put the gis on and when we compete. But nonetheless, shout out to Kainan. We had a couple very interesting matches. Like we had Janata Alves versus Roosevelt Souza. Big size difference, and Souza was able to win 3-0. Like, do yourselves a favor. If you're really into the grappling arts, if you say you love jiu-jitsu, watch these matches, man. This is stuff that 10 years ago we wouldn't have.
Yeah, even Dudu or Eduardo Gazzarote, I forget his last name. I just know him as Dudu from Cantagallo. Checkmate, he came up with like the Jansen brothers. He had a super fight. He won, so that was really dope to see. You know, them boys from the favela be killing it. Out here killing it.
You know, I like to think, Nico, while we're still on the subject of this event, which, you know, shout out to this event. We talked about, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, about something that Fionn Davies said. Do you remember?
Yes, that there are not enough female brackets out there.
I think one of the things he said is only having one women's match on your card as a novelty is, I think she said, gross or weird, or I don't know what it was not a positive thing.
Shameful. Y'all should be ashamed of
Shameful.
yourself.
I think she said shameful.
Shame
yes.
on y'all.
Shameful.
Where is the guilt?
Shameful. And check it out. There was only one women's match on the card. Now, Nico.
Where is the representation?
Nico, I think we did, or I don't know if we did. We talked about, or we will talk about AE Jiu-Jitsu, the Emirates Jiu-Jitsu Championship. And they have the best women's grapplers that compete there regularly.
And maybe, maybe it was a scheduling issue because,
Maybe.
Gabi Pisagno was out there, Julia Alves was out there, so it is.
I believe that you can find more women's matches because those women's matches are fire. I think that the storylines related to women's grappling are a little bit better if we're talking just purely from a journalistic standpoint. It's just a matter of these women or these grapplers are really good. Fuck being male or female, whatever you call yourself. These dudes, not like male, female, but these motherfuckers can go. And these guys are putting on the best matches and they're going for the kill, and we have generational talents on the women's end as well. And it sucks that there's only one women's match on this card. Like, there's so many great grapplers here. Like, I would love to see if they would bring out for one of these cards, like a Yara.
Yara's injured.
Baby.
Baby
on the card versus Elizabeth Clay. Where's Elizabeth Clay? Is she hurt?
I don't know.
They could have called up Fionn. I would love to see.
She competed against Vanessa. Was that where's Vanessa?
Oh, the New Haven Open?
No, not recently.
Well, I would think that there's more American women, at least, that you can get to be on this card that are really freaking good. Have a no-gi match.
Why do they have to be American women, Tim?
I mean, I maybe scheduling or the flights, visa issues, I'm assuming. But there's plenty of women grapplers you could have had. But shout out to them because Jessica Khan, Armlock, Coyote Hernandez.
Oh yeah, they're where they all are. They're all in Abu Dhabi. Like,
well, okay, I won't shame them. My bad. But I still
it's still not.
There's
bad,
still plenty.
Like,
I don't think.
Hold on, we were still gonna go back and talk about we didn't even have Abu Dhabi on the outline because Tim made the outline, and the only reason I know about Abu Dhabi is because of the Brazilian athletes I know, and that's where Ana Rodriguez is, May is out there, like I said, Yara is injured, Isa's out there, Julia Alves is out there, Gabi Pisagno is out there, so IBJJF scheduled a GP on the same way. This isn't the Abu Dhabi tour a Grand Slam. This is the Abu Dhabi World Pro, so why would you schedule a GP on that day knowing that a majority of the women were out there because they have been going through the tour, so they were going to the AJB tour, so it's just kind of that's what you get from IBJJF. They kind of trump the American scene and think they're it, but whatever.
I think it's a lot of narrative because in the States the narrative is that gi is boring or gi doesn't matter. But in an international stage like UAE, they're actually trying to make it international and grow it. You see people from different countries and more diversity at these events.
Yeah, and it's really dope. Like the pictures, I'm looking through some of the pictures on their page right now. Like we don't really see it advertised on Flow Grappling, and I think that's kind of why it goes out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people in the U.S. But you know, like the best African player is Yaz Diaz. She is a woman that I follow. She lives in Portugal. She is from Guinea and one other African country. Julia Alves was the best South American player and the best woman brown belt. And like she's done a lot of work for Favela Jiu-Jitsu and social projects like Projecto Stone. Like she supports a lot of young girls coming up in the sport in Brazil. Lucas Patacio, he's another Brazilian that's been doing a lot of amazing things. So, you know, they've like nominated like the best European player, the best North and Central American player. So they give kind of like a better representation to athletes from around the world compared to IBJJF. But we really don't see a lot of that in the mainstream jiu-jitsu media. So that's kind of unfortunate. We kind of focus on like the same people, like Gordon Ryan's trying to dominate anything, and like not to take away from his accomplishments in jiu-jitsu, but like he has accomplished himself in one niche. And like there are other people out there, especially people that ain't getting American visas. Like, let's not forget about them.
On the side note with that, I would love for us to treat a jiu-jitsu event where it's like the Olympics, where there's only trials for certain countries, and we have it in a site where everyone can compete. I think that would be sick, because I'm looking at how UAE is going to different countries, and those countries have a extensive grappling history in their own right. I would be very interested to see how that would go down, and if we did some rule changes, how it would work. But yeah, I'll give IBJJF benefit of the doubt. Most likely it could be that they want to have a monopoly, so they're going head to head, but I don't see where the correlation is, because they both got money. But anything else you wanted to say about UAE Jiu-Jitsu as far as results, or is that it?
No, that's dope. If you want to watch the fights, I believe you can just peep them on their YouTube channel. They might be by Matt, it might be a Payne, who knows, but you know, definitely worth watching.
Bet.
All right, what's up next on this outlist?
YouTube.
Oh God.
YouTube. You're probably watching this on YouTube. YouTuber boxing. There was a card last night for some YouTube boxing. YouTubers are boxing now. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI. And now one of, I'd say a good buddy of mine, you know. I wouldn't say
you know
close
him?
I know him. So
You know him?
yes.
Oh God.
Yeah, an old training partner, acquaintance of mine, Brandon Buckingham. Shout out to Brandon Buckingham. He had a fight last night, this past weekend, and he knocked out a fellow YouTuber.
No. Let's go back. Brandon Buckingham, what's his name?
Brandon Buckingham.
Elementary school art teacher who's been quit to turn full-time influencer.
Yes.
That's not how Tim didn't introduce this man right. So he was out there painting pictures.
Yes, he was
out
a
there
teacher.
Painting pictures for y'all, and that's how they introduced this man. Yeah, I was dying.
Yeah,
I was dying. Fighting, and who was he fighting? He was out fighting Ice what?
Ice Poseidon.
Ice Poseidon from Florida. So like I was like, oh my God, why we got to put Maryland in the same conversation as Florida? But here, lo and behold, that is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go.
And he knocked out Ice Poseidon in the first round. I know Brandon Buckingham's been going through a lot this past year, but shout out to him. He's a real cool dude. Hey, man, next time you want to train, hit me up. Get some training in. He was really good at this move called the Spladle. I think Spladle City. He had the YouTube channel. He made it. Like Spladle City is like a pretty big wrestling.
What is the Spladle? Could you explain? Could you describe the Spladle for?
It's like you put somebody in a twister. Like you're making someone do a split with your legs and arms, and you're laying horizontal to them.
Okay.
Your spines are perpendicular.
That sounds uncomfortable. So he had a whole YouTube channel?
Like, yeah. Oh, no.
Spladle, what?
Instagram. He had an Instagram.
Okay.
Rest in peace to Instagram. Fingers crossed.
Yo, stop speaking negative things into existence, Tim.
I'm sorry.
You said you didn't want the power, so like stop trying to like just be willy-nilly with
Anyway, shout out to Brandon Buckingham, undefeated professional boxer now. So
Okay.
shout out to you, buddy.
That is wild. Does he have an amateur record?
No. He was a grappler. He did Muay Thai for a little bit. You got to watch his YouTube channel.
Oh my
his
God.
YouTube
And what kind
channel
of content are they going to find on his YouTube channel?
you're just going to have to watch. He's just... I'm not into the influencer thing. I'm not privy to a lot that goes on. But since I'm cool with him and I've known him for a little while, I just day one supporter. And wowzers, like his content is all over the place. It's very interesting. It's just very, I didn't know. And then you get in a rabbit hole about how YouTubers beef and everything. Just follow him and like you'll figure it out. So shout out to Brandon Buckingham. He wants to fight this guy called Sneeko that he has beef with.
Sneeko, I love the name. I love the name.
What do you think about YouTuber boxing? What is your opinion of it? It's a new phenomenon.
I think it was very wild. We were talking about the educated right hand last week or maybe
left
2 weeks
hand.
ago. Educated left hand of Pereira a couple weeks ago. And here like we saw like the miseducation of both hands of this man just kind of swinging wild haymakers, chin up, hands down. But he came through with a W, so I just hope he goes up, against proper matches as he advances in his pro career and that nobody tags him on that chin and sends him kissing the canvas.
You gotta watch one of his latest videos about his boxing training. I think you would be very intrigued.
Yeah, we're gonna drop them in the Discord. Cause like I was like, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you saw like I had to stop halfway through like the walkout because I was like, what is this? Like, this is not WWE. It was comical, but I was watching to see how the footwork was going to be. I was watching to see how the hands, if they had any combo setups. Like, I'm glad that they ended it early in the first round. Yeah, it was a lot of running around the ring.
Interesting.
But I mean, like,
I'm all for you getting your bag.
Yeah.
And boxing is a form of entertainment. And we know, I look at it for what it is and not try to romanticize the idea of people going into a ring and bludgeoning each other. There's way more things that we should be concerned about as a society than the efficacy of a boxing match. If I'm participating and it's on the up and up, like a fair fight, yes. But to say such and such YouTuber has no right to fight such and such boxer, I think that if you're not cheating, but if you just say, I want to fight him, I don't really care, man. Like, go for it, because, I mean, you're still going to get brain damage anyway. Like, there's a lane for it. Like, I'm not saying like, if Shakur Stevenson all of a sudden said, I don't want to box the best boxers in the world, I want to box YouTubers, I'd be really fucking disappointed, because you're supposed to say you're elite boxer. Or if you're, I don't know, Jaron Ennis or T. Bud Crawford, any of these boxers, right? Your lane is, I'm trying to be the best. If you're Floyd Mayweather, you're retired. Like, you're trying to box. If you want to box a YouTuber, go for it, Floyd, because it's an exhibition.
But it depends on like how far out there you're going. Like, it's one thing if it's like you're Jake Paul and like you're actually at a legitimate event that like has legitimate refs, that has like an ambulance there, like as you're supposed to. It's another thing like when people like, I don't know where this fight was, or if it could be like even like a smaller kind of fight or venue where like people are like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and do like an unsanctioned boxing match where you don't have any like medics and like you can really get hurt. And if you don't have like a decent matchmaker, like a professional, like you would assume that if you are a legitimate professional, or at least know what you're doing, like, you'll have some kind of sense, but like, I don't know, like concussions are a thing, like detached retinas are a thing, like injuries are a thing. So like, it's cool. Like if you want to fight, go fight. Just make sure you're in a safe environment when you're doing it. That's the thing. Because people be doing stupid stuff, like mad stupid stuff, like backroom brawls. Like even I had a friend that he took like, he took a Muay Thai fight with MMA gloves. Yo, bloodiest thing I've ever seen. Or I didn't even see
they
it.
Do that
but, like,
on 1FC?
Yeah, like, so, Like, but if you take that at like a promotion that doesn't have an ambulance and paramedics there, it's kind of wild. Like, there will be blood. You gotta make sure you can get the proper medical attention.
It's funny that you said that because Bellator is in some hot water on social media.
For what?
All right, so Patricio Pitbull, his brother had a fight last night. Little Pitbull, I forgot his... Patricky Pitbull had a fight
Piposito.
against Usman Nurmagomedov. Illinois Commission, this is Patricio Pitbull saying this. Illinois Commission don't serve for shit. Not a single doctor on site to stitch my brother. We were sent to a hospital, treated like shit for more than 5 hours and still waiting. Bellator MMA needs to have a medical team ready to do that on the events. Not the first time. I guess assuming not the first time this has happened. Interesting you said that.
Yeah.
Interesting you said that. I know one thing. They're not very thankful for that. But it is Thanksgiving. We got a little bit of time left. We're going to do a martial arts version of what you're thankful for, Nico, before we leave. You can give me one thing that you're thankful for. Martial arts related.
Shit. We started off the episode. I'm just thankful for my community. Like, I wouldn't have a car right now if it wasn't for me being able to reach out to people from all over the place. And thankful for my team, who still remains my team, even though, like, I haven't been able to train for so long. You know, I can always reach out to Master Lloyd whenever I need him.
I'm thankful for the knowledge I was able to gain, the specified knowledge I was able to gain over my time as a martial artist and still tend to acquire. Because when I talk to people and I tell them my experiences and the way I use those skills and the credentials that it was able to give me, it's made a huge difference when I am trying to present myself in wrestling or just when I'm talking about my life experience when I have an interview or whatever. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity, and it pushed me to a level where now, no matter what I do in life, I can go back on that knowledge and those experiences and use that to push me in other endeavors. So that's what I'm thankful for, martial arts related. Nico, where can we find you? Anything else you want to leave us with?
No, you can find me on Instagram at NoNewNico. That's no_new_Nico. And if you're trying to learn Portuguese for BJJ, go to PortugueseForBJJ.com. Download you some vocabulary guides. Find some jiu-jitsu techniques in Portuguese for free.
You can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram and Facebook. Even though I think social media is dying, specifically Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at MushmasterWins. And you can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/BJJGoons. We have bonus episodes. We have town halls. We have watch-alongs, all that good stuff at the Patreon. So, on behalf of Nico, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.